What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Turn the Jets podcast. I'm your host, Will Parkinson, at Will Pod 11 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. It's my third episode in like 5 days, which is usually either really good or not so good. I would say it was half and half. Nice victory Monday pod back to back. Had the McCourties on. I feel like I got really excited about the idea of not tanking. Jets come out, 14-play drive right down the field, and you're like, oh my God. This might be a fun night of like just competitiveness. Then the actual Justin Fields took back over, got scared of contact and couldn't throw the football down the field. And the Jets lose, 27-14. I know, PK, you were on last night with Joe. 10 hours later, how we feeling? How we doing in the wise words of Joe Caporoso?
Yeah, I mean, weird game. Still kind of feel the same way I did last night, which is like, I'm not furious. I don't think they came out and got the shit kicked out of them or anything, but it was a weird game in the sense that like it never felt like they were getting pumped. Like it kind of felt all game like, all right, like they're kind of hanging around. But when you zoom out a little bit, like there really wasn't a whole lot of resistance on defense. New England was moving the ball down the field in chunks for most of the night. But I think maybe just the pace of the game went so quickly that like I guess they just didn't have time. Like if you give the Patriots another quarter, maybe they score 40 points. I don't know. But like the 27-14 doesn't feel super indicative of what the game was. But again, like they just weren't as talented. It's just frustrating that there were some missed opportunities. If they played a hell of a game and you lost one, okay, fine. But like they didn't. Fields did do all the things that have been frustrating everybody for weeks. AD Mitchell did do the things that have made past teams like not want to have a part of him anymore. Like all those things did show up again. Brownlee got the flags that we were warned about when we traded for him from Tennessee. Tony Adams did Tony Adams stuff. Like it all kind of happened, and you still only lost by 13, which is about what the spread was. So yeah, I don't know. It was kind of just like a mystifying game where it doesn't give you the ability to go too hard in either direction. You can't really walk away from that and be like, I feel good about that, but you can't really flip out either. It was kind of just like, all right.
Yeah, no, look, I think the things, I'll start with the positives because there is obviously plenty of negatives when you lose by 2 scores against a divisional opponent. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The positives, I thought the defense, unfortunately, did a lot of what they did week 1 in a lot of ways where they were really good on first and second down. I feel like the Patriots were in every drive, it was first down, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7s. Steve Wilkes would just run the same blitzes on 3rd down. Drake Maye has really good pocket presence, and I'm not saying he's like we don't need to anoint him the consensus MVP for the next decade, but he was really impressive last night. Where like he does feel the pocket really well, and he's able to step up and make plays, and you kind of see that creative gene that he had at North Carolina, and the footwork looks better. So like more power to him. But the defense early downs I thought was pretty good last night. Now, 3rd down was an abomination. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it wasn't. I thought there was times where they showed a lot of energy. They were playing hard. Like, there wasn't – I was really worried there was going to be a huge letdown in energy because it's naturally what happens on Thursday night. I didn't feel that at all. The offensive line I thought was really good last night. The times Fields got hit was entirely on Fields. Like, I have not watched the tape this morning. It's only 10 a.m. Like, I'll get to it in the next couple hours. But I felt like Fields only got hit when Fields decided to like shut his brain off. Guys were running open. I thought Tanner Engstrand had a nice night. Special teams did what special teams does. McNamara probably had his worst night of the year. But that to me felt like Weston was down for the game because they needed an extra DB. Then Stigers gets hurt. So like Gunners, whatever. I know I'm getting into the weeds here, but like even the stuff that usually goes well, the issue for the Jets last night, in my opinion, was well, I want to leave Fields as a separate topic. It's too much to just like put in a segment, but it feels like all the things they kind of needed to bounce their way in a lot of ways did not, right? They know it bounced their way that he misses the field goal before half, but you feel really frustrated. You're like, even the first drive, PK, like 2nd and 10, really nice to play on defense. The whistle had not blown yet. So, and I understand like it looked worse than it was. That was just a normal tackle. The whistle, had Diggs in his arms already, like midair before the whistle blew. The crowd gets bullied. That totally ruins that drive. the intentional grounding where, let's be honest, as stupid as it was from Fields, the ref said it last night, like it shouldn't have been a flag. That totally kills off the game at that point, right? I think it was 21-14 at that point, if I'm not mistaken. And like that killed that drive. The Patriots go down and make it a 2-possession game. Fields fumbles, the game's over, right? Like, and again, I'm not saying they were going to win, but these things, football, the Jets need every margin to go their way right now, especially against a very talented team. And they didn't have that. And then again, some of the missed tackles, some missed assignments, some drops, obviously, as well. I guess what stood out to you last night from a positive sense? Was there anything, again, I thought Engstrand's opening scripts have been really, really good. And it feels like the feel of the game, he's trying a lot of different creative stuff. Whether it works, like the triple option thing was really cool. Like doing a reverse pass and throwing it. I don't know why he didn't, like Isaiah Williamson throwing upfield. There was nobody there. But again, the point is like he's trying stuff. It's just hard if the people you're trying to try this stuff with can't execute anything you're trying to do.
Yeah, the opening script was phenomenal, and I didn't feel like Tanner Engstrand fell off a cliff the rest of the game. It was like I felt like he was still calling good plays, but like
dude was awesome.
Yeah,
like
but
the third time he played Mitchell, I don't know
exactly. But when Fields can't make the throw, then that like short circuits the momentum, and then everybody starts feeling down on themselves, and it builds on itself, right? It's like a progressive problem, and then I'm sure at some point that problem works its way all the way to Engstrand, and he's like, all right, shit, I have to call different plays now because these guys can't fucking execute what I'm trying to put out there on the field. So it's like it's a fire that you have to chase that all starts with the quarterback, unfortunately. On defense, I thought just like the attitude that it seemed like they were playing with was really positive. Tyler Barron had mostly a bad game, but even he made a good play at one point. Brownlee, I'm okay with, like, he holds a lot. He's really grabby with his hands. I think mostly that's a function of being out of position and being forced to play an outside role that you're not really built for. Like you're a slot corner. But I appreciate how violent he was playing last night. And there were a bunch of guys last night on defense that it felt like they were flying around. Quincy was flying all over the place last night. He had a good sack.
Did you see his comment? I don't know if you saw his interview with Janae. She's like, what made Henderson start to tackle? He's like, I didn't have a problem tackling him.
I didn't see that. That's awesome.
I was like, he's like, yeah, that's not the problem. He's like, Drake Maye just killed us. And I was like, honestly, there was 4 or 5 times where it sounded like Quincy. First of all, you can hear Quincy through the broadcast last night. Like he was loud. First, by the way, Gillette was a parking lot last night. Very weird. They're not into, like, I don't know.
Fake football fans.
Yeah, a little fake there. But no, sorry, continue. Just Quincy was like, whether he was in position or out of position, no one can question that. That guy has no reason to be playing hard right now.
Yeah.
He's going to a contract year, his last big contract. The staff basically told him, we don't really need you. They just traded his brother. And like, credit to him, man. He plays 1,000 miles an hour. And if anything, I feel like it's the hardest he's been running around since probably 2023.
Really impressive the way he handled the last couple weeks and it's everything. It's from trading his brother away to not trading him away to the weird benching to the coming back. Like he's handled all of it extremely well. He keeps saying all the right things, and most importantly, he's playing well on the field. They mentioned it on the SNY post game last night. At a certain point, though, the people who you are holding accountable and who are responding well to it, don't they start to look around and say, wait a minute, how come I'm being held accountable, but the quarterback isn't? How come I'm being held accountable, but the defensive coordinator isn't? How come Michael Clemens hasn't been benched, right? So at a certain point, no matter how well most of these guys can handle the accountability, you have to start to look around and be like, how come I'm one of the only ones that's being treated this way? And so that's a really like dangerous line that I think they're walking. I'll zoom out again on the defense. I think, they, outside of the play calling, I thought the individual players handled it really well. So I thought the offensive play calling was really good and the offensive play wasn't great. And I thought the defensive play calling sucked and the defensive play was really good. So kind of had some wires crossed there. On the Drake Maye stuff, I am, especially with like division rivals and teams I don't like, I am very slow to give anybody flowers. Like I'm still not there with Josh Allen. Maybe I will be someday, but like, so with Drake Maye, I'm like, dude, it's 10 games. Like, can we relax? Can we pump the brakes a little bit with this? But the one play I'll say last night was the one where he was rolling out to the right side. He kind of baited a defender off of Hunter Henry to step up and try to defend the run against him. And then he just flicked it over to Hunter Henry for like 10 yards. I was like, man, dude, that's a good play. A lot of quarterbacks can't do that. So that one put the fear of God in me a little bit. But again, like, it's 10 games. He has arguably one of the best offensive coordinators of our generation, which pains me to say, but he is. Like, Josh McDaniels is one of the best offensive coordinators in modern football. And so, like, we'll see where it goes with Drake Maye. We don't have to start panicking like this is Brady all over again, right? We said that when Josh Allen first started his, ascent, and like, whatever, it's been a few years. He wins the division every year, but does he do much in the playoffs? No, we're never going to see what Brady did again. Never. So, like, we don't have to flip out about that yet.
Yeah. Let's go to the Fields thing, because I think this is at least from reading the tenor of the fan base, from what I can see on Twitter and our Discord and just text about it and stuff like that, I think people were really kind of warming to Glenn and the staff a bit, minus Wilkes, but warming. By the way, the last thing on Wilkes, the reason that the defense I think is struggling the most is I just don't think they're put in positions to succeed on third down. I think it's the same coverages, it's the same blitzes, they don't work. And yes, they don't have enough talent right now, but I just don't think that, like, I think Wilkes is a placeholder. They hired him specifically to be a veteran mind that could come in, take some of the heat, and be able to run a defense day in and day out so Glenn could learn the job of being a head coach. He's been a head coach in this league. Glenn has not. It's handling the media. It's handling all these different things. Like, this is year zero for this staff, and Wilkes is the year zero Anthony Lynn for the Lions in 2021. Like, it is what it is.
And by the way, when you view it through that lens and you zoom out a little bit, you're like, for Glenn to have the awareness to be like, I can't learn everything I need to learn year one, and also help a first-time defensive coordinator do his job. It's like pretty good vision and kind of like understanding of your own strengths and weaknesses, right? To be like, I'm just going to farm this completely out for 1 year and I'm going to take it on the chin.
Here's the problem with the Fields of it all. So we've had this conversation 800 times. It's becoming nauseating at this point. Fields was the right process. He didn't work out. It is what it is. You can get mad at the contract. I totally understand. I think we all at the time were like, whoa, that's they got shafted on the contract, right? Same thing with Sherwood in a lot of ways. Like, the process was fine. It's just you feel like for whatever reason, either scheme or whatever it is, the contract doesn't match up to the play in the field. If you want to have that opinion, I agree with you. I'm on the same opinion. Like, they messed up the Fields deal with the year two. They should have front loaded the deal, and it could have been 2 for $40, but 30 of it was this year because they weren't going to spend it anyways. And then you could cut them if you needed to, X, Y, and Z. They obviously did that because the cap's going to go up, and they split the Rodgers money, and they felt like they're going to have probably a rookie quarterback and the whole thing. All these things we can talk about in the offseason. We're just rehashing the same bullshit conversation that it doesn't matter. It's over. They already signed him. They're already paying him the money. They're going to probably June 1 him anyways. It's over. Like, we can move on. For last night, my issue is he clearly doesn't want to get hit. And I hate doing that because it's like, it's kind of calling someone soft. And I'm not calling Justin Fields soft because he's taken a beating throughout his career. He gets hit all the time. He'll still occasionally stand in there and take a shot in the pocket. And you go back to the Browns game in 2021 where Myles Garrett and the Browns defense nearly killed Justin Fields on the field. Everyone remembers that game. He got sacked literally 11 times. It was awful. He's a tough kid. No one's saying he's not. But present day, November 13th, 14th, 2025, Justin Fields doesn't want to get hit anymore. And it's hard to blame him. He's taken some shots this year, the whole thing. He gives up 4, 5, 6 yards a rush because he runs right out of bounds. He doesn't stand in the pocket because he doesn't want to get hit, and he runs himself into sacks. He doesn't pull the trigger right now on anything that's not wide ass open, and that's even usually a second or two late because he has to see it literally physically open in order to throw it. And I know you guys mentioned it last night to Tyler Johnson, 3rd and 12. He throws a 4-yard pass to Tyler Johnson, who had to sit down in the zone and then ended up being triple covered. My issue is, like, even the ball to A.D. Mitchell, right? On first look, I'm like, just terrible drop. Like, you got to catch that on double move. Yeah, Mitchell's got to catch the ball 100%, 100% get it. Like, I am not absolving him in this way at all. But, like, if you put the ball out in front of him, he didn't throw it 80 yards down the field. If you put that ball down in front of him, AD Mitchell's still running. And it's a touchdown, and we're like, holy shit, the Jets are up 14-7. Like, what's going on here? Same thing on the man beater on third and 9. Perfectly drawn up play, great route. The Jets executed that to a T. Does Mitchell? Do you want to see Mitchell catch that PK? Yeah, you do. But like, dude, he's still running. If you just throw a normal, accurate pass, again, and then the last one. This is the one that really drove me nuts last night. It shouldn't have. It wouldn't have mattered at that point. It was 27-14. It was the end of the game. Mitchell again, which we'll get to AD Mitchell quickly, but like, AD Mitchell again beats Christian Gonzalez again, who's one of the 2 or 3 best corners in football. And he just, Kenny Yeboah pegged Christian Gonzalez in the ass on a 20-yard fade ball. It's like, dude, is your arm also gone? Again, I understand all the complexity. This is the longest I'll talk ever. This is the longest. I understand the complexity of Tyrod's probably either not healthy or they don't trust him to be healthy enough to last more than a half or a full game. But I just feel like at some point, it's a detriment to not only the team from a winning perspective, it's a detriment. You can't evaluate Arian Smith. You can't evaluate John Mechie effectively. You can't really evaluate AD Mitchell effectively, Mason Taylor, Jeremy Rucker, Breece Hall. Like, Tyrod runs the offense the way it's supposed to be run, and whether it's good or bad, he's going to run it. When it comes to Fields, it's a totally different offense. And like, we joke about Arian Smith, and then I want to let you talk here because I've been rambling, but like, Arian Smith, like, it would have been nice to have him get a deep shot or two in last night, or you can't use him because Fields isn't going to throw it. So I don't know, PK. It feels like at some point we've hit a wall here. We're like, why are we normalizing 30 yards and a half? Like, that's not normal. And I don't care that he's a nice guy. That doesn't mean, like, he doesn't absolve him in year 5, year 6 of criticism from like playing awful quarterback. It is what it is.
Don't disagree with anything you said, first of all, so I won't restate all of it because it's all spot on. On the Tyrod injury stuff, like, we're at a point now where it feels like this is the most obvious explanation to everything, where it explains the weird podium nonsense, where it's like, hey, I'm protecting information that I can't have anybody find this out, because if they do, they're going to know how vulnerable we are as a team, because all we have is a guy whose brain is broken, a guy who is physically broken, and then Brady Cook, who was at Missouri last year. And like, we can't do that, right? Like, we cannot do that. And so it really simply explains kind of a lot of the things that have been going on the last few weeks. And so I think Justin Fields is a perfect candidate for a multiple year sit down. Like, you need to go to the lab and you need to completely reinvent yourself as a quarterback, because if you can't play
Gino did, right? Gino at that point was like, he just didn't play for years.
For years. The Giants, the Chargers, he was a backup for several years. And the Seahawks, by the way. So like, that's what I think Justin Fields needs. He needs to go back to the lab. He needs to reinvent himself as a quarterback. If you are not physically able to play the way you used to play for Chicago or for Ohio State, then we kind of need to go back to basics. And like, during that multiple year sit down period, you'll probably naturally figure out, do I love football enough to keep doing this and turn myself into that other player? Or am I just going to be like, you know what, I want to protect my body and I want to walk away? And either of those things are okay, but you can't just keep starting NFL games, because you're just making it worse for yourself long term. You're making it bad for everybody on your team long term. So like, I wonder if there's a part of him, and I don't know if he's like self-aware enough for this, to look back and be like, maybe Tomlin actually had my best interest in mind. And maybe I should have considered that instead of being like personally offended by it. But I think that's where we are with him now. And if he wants to stay in the NFL and have a future, that's probably what he needs. Now, like, as far as the Jets are concerned, when do we hit the point where it's like, all right, we tried to kick the can down the road, hoping that Tyrod would get healthy enough that at some point we can make the change and pretend like he was never hurt and we never had to admit anything? But have we hit that point where now we just need to show the cards and be like, Tyrod's hurt, he can't play. We can't play Brady Cook, and we can't play Justin Fields anymore. So what do we do? Right? I looked at like street quarterbacks right now. It's not good, dude. It's CJ Beathard, Jeff Driscoll, and Jake Fromm. I think Beathard is probably the best of the three options. But like at some point, do you just bring in a guy to be like, hey, dude, can you just operate for a couple weeks? And like, we're going to simplify everything way down, but we just need you to like feed these receivers. Yeah.
And just throw the ball. Like, I think that's the issue, right? Like, I don't know if you feel this way, but like, yeah, at points last night, Fields took a couple of quote unquote shots. But like, guys are open. And like, I'm not saying it's perfect. Engstrand is not perfect as an OC right now. He's a better scripter right now than he is game caller, but he's got a lot of good concepts. John Mechie gets open. Like, A.D. Mitchell gets open at a better rate than anybody in the NFL. If you look at every analytic, he is a absolute roulette, like, card when it comes to if he's going to catch the football.
What's refreshing about Mechie is that he is going to catch the ball. He's got hands. A.D. Mitchell doesn't have hands, but he's going to get open. So there's Clay.
Yeah. You just need somebody to like, it's just even like, dude, you look at the 3rd and 2 right before Rucker. First of all, it just sucks. Rucker had a really nice night last night. And then obviously dropped down at the end.
It's my fault. Play. I killed him.
Yeah, no, it was my fault too. I was excited. I texted a couple people that like know Ruckert or have played with Ruckert, and we're like, yeah, like I'm so happy for him. He's finally getting a shot to like, show he's not just like a generic tight end 3. And I was like, yeah, he looks great tonight, and then drop. But I think what sucks is like the 3rd and 2, they don't throw Breece the ball. And I in general, that's what the consensus is. But Fields isn't even looking there. Like he's a one read. If it's not wide ass open, he's running. But then he's running out of bounds, or he's running himself into a sack. It's 3rd and 2, and he did the Dylan Gabriel. He turtled and then ran right up the middle into the heart of the Patriots defense. The Patriots are strongest in the interior, like defensive line and their linebackers. That's where like they're good. And he just ran right in the middle, and you saw Breece just like, well, I don't know what you want me to do here. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, that's annoying, man. Like, it's 3rd and 2, and you're not even a valuable runner now. Like that sucks. And the running back comment to me, PK was like, we literally can't afford you, to your point, to get hurt, because if you get hurt, we're not really sure where we're going next.
Yeah. It's a dark, and we can't know everything, right? So like, we don't know how bad Tyrod's injury really is. We don't know how they feel about Brady Cook, and if they really are like terrified of the prospect of him playing, and that's why they're doing all this weird stuff. We don't know how they really feel about so we can't know all of it. But if that is a reasonable guess at what's happening, that's like major scary hours, dude.
Yeah, I liked your take on the post game last night. Look, I kind of, it's half a bit, half like true. Like, A.D. Mitchell is tantalizing. It's really easy to fall for like the 3rd down right in the beginning of the game. You're like, all right, well, he's playing X for the next 8 years for the Jets. Right. Like, this is awesome. Yeah. It was like, hey, 3rd and 5, just ran a bang 8 and just like boxed the guy out. It was perfect. And then like right after that, you see him wide ass open, dusting Christian Gonzalez in a double move and man coverage. You're like, dude, what do we have here? This is awesome. And then it's like, you could tell last night it was totally in his head.
Yeah.
That, like, that's his problem, right? It was totally in his head. Like, I got to make an impact. He also hasn't played football since week 6. So like, that's a huge problem. I know people are going to be like, oh, all right, well, like, we get it, dude. Like, you like pepper that dude with targets every week for the remainder of the year.
15 balls a game.
I don't care, because first of all, if you lose, you get a better draft pick. And if you win and you find something in A.D. Mitchell, that'd be awesome. Same thing with Mechie. Like, I think I'm good with just Mechie, Arian Smith, and A.D. Mitchell, and then Tyler Johnson, and Williams could be your gadgety guys on like 10 personnel and stuff. But I want to see those 3 guys, because the college pedigree shows you there's probably potentially something there. Potentially. Especially like, why can't Mechie be your wide receiver 4 next year? As you're like designated, I'm the slot guy. We're going to draft somebody. We can leave the slot open for Garrett when we want to. Mechie can be your 10 personnel guy. You have no problem. You trust him. He's like smart dude. Tough catches last night. I don't know. It's not all bad, PK. It's frustrating because there was points last night where, the Patriots probably didn't get out of 3rd gear, but the Jets never got out of 1st gear in a lot of ways. And like, it was 21-14 in the 4th quarter. So they could have had a chance to steal one on like an ugly, boring Thursday nighter. Where are you at with? I want to finish with these 2 things really quick with you. Where are you at with Glenn? Because it feels like the discourse now is flipped back to like, this guy fucking sucks, fire him. Everyone, tortured. He loves Fields, and like, look at his press conf. Dude, by the way, his pressers, He is doing what I've been saying for weeks. He knows how bad the quarterbacks are.
Mm-hmm.
He knows they're 2-8. The best way to distract from that is make yourself a circus.
Yep.
Because everything else around, no one's talking about how bad Justin Fields was all week. They're talking about Aaron Glenn and, oh my God, he was a dick to Rich Cimini. Like, who cares? That's his whole shtick. He learned under Sean Payton. Bill Belichick was his DC when he first got in the league. Bill Parcells. And then, like, I don't know. I guess where are you at with Glenn? Because I know we have a couple minutes here.
Yeah, while we're talking about press conferences, I also do want to sneak in real quick that AD Mitchell spoke to the media last night. I don't know if you saw that, but and I'm a big overanalyzed press conferences guy, but he said all the right things. He stood tall, and they pressed him a few times to try to criticize the offense, being like, "You're the new guy. Like, what do you see here happening on offense? What's wrong?" And he just every time was like, "Dude, I dropped 3 balls. Like, what? What do you mean? Like, I have to make those catches. Like, I'm going to look at myself." So all the right things from him. It was the first time I ever heard him speak as an interested party. So, like, very nice there. For Glenn, yeah, like, I think he's doing the lightning rod thing. And I think he does not give a shit how many people come after him. And he's like, I can take all the bullets. I can handle it. He made a big point last night of every time he criticized the team, also saying that the coaches didn't do a great job paying attention to the details either. So, like, it's very obviously a concerted effort to try to, put the arms out and take the bullets himself rather than lighting up a player. So, yeah, dude, I'm fine with it. Like, I it's frustrating to have, like, the constant, like, the seesaw back and forth between, like, Glenn sucks, Glenn is great, Glenn sucks, Glenn is great. Like, can we just say that he's 10 games into his tenure? It's his first time doing this. He has had a pretty cool ascent through the league where he's made multiple stops at every different level. And, like, this is the next stop. Like, he kind of shown in all of those stops that, like, he stabilizes for a little while and then he gets where he needs to be and he gets better. Right. So, like, let's just give him some time. Like, we don't have to say he is the right answer or he's the wrong answer right now. He's what's there. Yeah. So, like, let's just wait and see.
He's not going anywhere. Last thing, because I know people, and we'll have more pods throughout the weekend and early next week to kind of break it down even further. Defensive coordinator has been thrown around in the Discord quite a bit, and everyone kind of asked if we could talk about it. I don't think that Steve Wilkes will be the DC next year. I think that they'll either promote him to demote him at the same time. It's a very classic thing. You're moving up to the front office to have an advisory job. The names that come to mind for me of just spitballing off the top of my head, who knows who will be available. 2 guys that are on staffs that likely will get cleaned out. Jonathan Gannon, who's been a Super Bowl defensive coordinator. He's kind of an asshole, and he's generally done well with not a lot. He's a name that, to me, like, hey, former head coach, could see it. Jim Schwartz in Cleveland, Wink Martindale, that type that's like the aggressive man coverage blitzing guy. Like, Browns defense is really good, no matter what the talent is there. So those are just names that are like, hey, we know those names. Jim Leonard's the one that I think is the pie in the sky of, like, former Jet, beloved. Like, do the Jets get the undersized DBs all back together? And, the fan favorites from 98 through 2010. And Leonard was with Banjo. He's another Sean Payton guy. He was with Muji. Like, there's a lot of connections there, and he's learned under Vance Joseph. He learned at Wisconsin. Like, there's a lot there to like. Other than that, it's, is it Chris Harris who's, is it one of those type of situations? Do you go into college? Is there any names for you that, like, stand out? Please do not give me the Raheem Morris stuff. I'm good. I'm so good. Thank you. So anyways, PK, finish this out here.
Outside of the ones you mentioned, the only additional name I have to throw in is Deshae Townsend, who is a D-back that we all remember playing, right? And he is currently on the Lions staff running DBs. So there's a Glenn connection there. He got a DC interview last year with San Francisco, who is a respected organization who interviews and hires good people, right? So Deshae Townsend, Jim Leonard, and Chris Harris are kind of the 3 names. I'm a big, like, go get a first-time coordinator guy. I'd rather bet on lottery tickets than I would on retreads. So those are the 3 names I have. I was talking about it with actually Dan and Meigs. I think we're going to try to get Dan onto Jetheads at some point to do, like, his full breakdown of what he sees out there. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting conversation. I think Wilkes has served his purpose, and I kind of agree with everything else you said.
Yeah, I'll finish this here. Gun to your head, if you had to take one of Simpson or Mendoza right now, Who you take?
If I had to, it's Simpson, and I'm not even thinking about it. Like it's, for me, I'm sorry. The personality with Mendoza, like it freaks me out a little bit. I just don't know if it works in New York. And that's, I think, the simplest way for me to put it is I just don't know if it plays here.
Yeah, I talked to someone in the scouting community or a scout about the two of them, and one was like, one's a coach's son who has the Alabama locker room by the balls, and the other one is a guy who won science fairs, and he's like, can you picture him talking shit to Jermaine Johnson during camp and getting punched in the face? I said, well, okay, that there's a lot there. We will break it down. PK, appreciate hopping on as always. Unfortunately, not a Victory Monday pod. I know there'll be coffee. There'll be another I'm sure a 12-pack. There's going to be Buck the Trend this weekend. Jetheads on Monday. And then, Connor and Joe back on, and we'll be back in our normal rhythm. Everybody enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon.